What is going on, guys? My name is Sean Barnard, and today I'm here with bettingaz.com. I'm here to give you a breakdown on BetRivers Sportsbook in the state of Arizona. It is one of the legal sports books in the state boundaries. So I'm here to take you through the login process, how to create an account, how to deposit money, an overall outlook of the interface of the app, how to place a wager, and everything else that you should know before getting involved in BetRivers Sportsbook and Casino. Now, before I dive fully into it, I would like to recommend that you guys are checking out bettingaz.com. There is a written version of the article that I'm kind of discussing about today. It goes a little more in depth than I'm going to do in this video. This is a little bit of more of an introductory, but if you have any specific questions, you can refer to this article here. Once again, that's bettingaz.com. And the best part about it is the link to this article is directly in the description of this video. And beyond that, that you can make sure that it is taking you directly to BetRivers itself and capitalizing on the best possible promotions. I'm going to touch a little bit more on that in a couple minutes, but that is a very important way. So we have you covered from start to finish at bettingaz.com. Now, without further ado, let's dive into BetRivers Sportsbook and Casino. I'm going to begin here by showing it on my screen. Here is a look at the overall interface. That blue and white is kind of what they are known for from a color standpoint and how the layout of the website is, the sportsbook as a whole. The mobile app looks very similar to this is the desktop version, but they do function very similar, and the design is basically the same. The first thing that you're going to want to do when you get to this area too is go to the Join Now button to create an account at the top right here. So we're going to click on this, and as you can see, it has you enter the gambling state, your screen name, email, password, retype password. The screen name is something I do want to note that for the most part, the sportsbook experience for people is very one way or one directional in terms of you and the sportsbook, nobody else involved. BetRivers is something a little interesting where they do offer a screen name to make it a little more interactive where you can interact with other users on the app. This is not something that is a need. You absolutely can still use this as a one-stop shop or how a sportsbook traditionally is used when wagering on a game, but that is an option that they do offer. So just keep that in mind that they may be made public. And beyond this, that you're just going to have to verify your location, your identity, and all the main steps. It is a pretty seamless login process when comparison to the sportsbook, and this is the way. And the last part is, as you can see right here at the bottom where it says affiliate code, that is an example of a promotion tool. I'm going to exit out of this and log in myself, but promotions as a whole that I just want to touch on is very important to capitalize on. That is the best possible way to minimize your risk while maximizing your potential earnings. So by capitalizing on the best promotions as you log on, that is the best way to put some additional earnings and money in your account. Once again, minimizing your risk and maximizing your potential earnings. And the promotion is the best way to do it. It's also very important to note that the most lucrative offers tend to be the sign-on bonus. So you should make sure that you capitalize this at the start of your betting experience. We have a ton of options on bettingaz.com to make sure that you're getting the most bang for your buck when it comes to that. And now let's jump into what it looks like on BetRivers here. So now that we are logged into the BetRivers app, same look once you are inside things. And the first thing you're going to want to do once you are logged in, an account is created. Of course, you want to capitalize on those promotions when you create an account, but you do have to deposit your own money because there is inherently some risk when it comes to sports betting. So where you do that on BetRivers is right here at the top, and you go to the deposit button. This takes you to this screen. I do think it's interesting that they push the pay with cash option first up here. It is not a requirement to pay with cash. There are plenty of more traditional options, but this is an option that BetRivers does offer. It's a $10 minimum deposit on the BetRivers Sportsbook app. And when you scroll down here, you can see some of the more common options here when it comes to online banking, VIP preferred ACH, a credit or debit card, PayPal, Venmo, BetRivers Play Plus card, all the other options. So well, it does surprise me a little bit that this is just shown like this, the barcode to make sure that the option to use cash. There are plenty of other options that you can use, and there are an appropriate amount of wager or options to get money into your account. And the bottom line is once you have a little in there, you are good to hit the ground running. So let's take a look at kind of the betting experience and layout here. As you can see on the side and across the top, you can alternate and scroll through different platforms and different sports to wager on. So if we look down the left side here, we have all the main basics that you could be looking for when it comes to NFL, NCAA football, MLB, golf, top soccer, UFC, as well as a bunch of football bets. I also like when you scroll down, it breaks it down into the all sports. So instead of by league, it's separated by sports. So for example, if I want to click on football, then it gives me the options of NFL, NCAA football, and this even has the CFL and NFL draft in here already. Now let's go through, let's jump over to the NFL lines, and I want to take you through an example wager here. So let's scroll down. Let's look for one that might be of interest here. And we're going to jump over to the Arizona Cardinals. They will be facing off against the Cincinnati Bengals. This is ahead of week 5 at the time that I'm recording this video. The Cardinals are 3-point underdogs in the matchup, plus 135 on the money line. That number has gone down a little bit throughout the week. The Bengals have not played good football to start the season. Joe Burrow does not look completely healthy. Let's say you believe in a Cardinals upset here. You're going to click on that plus 135 money line. You see the bet slip immediately pops up on your screen, and you simply type in how much you want to wager. That if you want to drop a $20 wager on the Cardinals money line at plus 135 odds, that is to win 27, so a $47 potential payout. And then you just simply click this place bet button in the green here, and it is as easy as that. So I do like the functionality of the way the bet slip just kind of appears on the BetRivers Sportsbook app. And another example that I want to take you guys through is creating a parlay. So parlays have grown in popularity in a ton. These are the ways to get the most lucrative payout. This, of course, means that you're wagering on several different games and all have to hit for the payout to hit. So there is more risk in it as much as there is the more payout, that if one wager does not hit, you do not get any profit in it. So it can be frustrating when you have, your 6-leg parlay and 5 out of the 6 games hit and you're going crazy. But when it does cash, it is the most impressive payout. So let's look at building a parlay here. I'm going to scroll through these odds again. Let's say I'm a believer in the Houston Texans, that the Houston Texans and Atlanta Falcons facing off. The Falcons are 1.5-point favorite on the spread. Houston Texans plus 100 on the money line. I'm going to click that there. And as you can see, it is added directly to the bet slip here, already calculating the parlay at plus 370 here. So for those 2 wagers, 2-leg parlay at plus 370. But let's get even crazier. Throw one more in the mix. How about the Jacksonville Jaguars at plus 5.5 against the Bills? Another London game. They've spent 2 consecutive weeks there. Feeling comfortable. I believe in them against the Bills. So I'm going to throw the 5.5 for them to at least make it a game. So for Cardinals money line at plus 135, Texans money line at plus 100, and Jacksonville Jaguars spread at plus 5.5 minus 112 odds, that 3-leg parlay has plus 793 odds. So to type a wager just like normal, let's say I want to put $10 here. So a $10 wager would be to win $79.30 and lead to a potential payout of $89.30. And then you would just send that through by clicking the place bet button there. And as I mentioned, all 3 of these legs must hit for this bet to pay out. But that's the smooth and easy way to build a parlay on BetRivers. Now, one of the things that I think is very cool and has been also grown in popularity in recent years is the same game parlay. That is also offered here on BetRivers. So if I was to go back to this Bengals and Cardinals game, see how it says plus 165 bets. So there's plenty of options. So I'm going to click on this, let this screen expand. And one of the cooler options here that I like about the functionality of the BetRivers Sportsbook is you can move the line. You can see the spread here. As I said, that I am a believer in the Cardinals in this matchup. They're 3-point underdogs. Let's say I'm super feeling confident that I want to move them to the favorite. Let's move the Cardinals to a 1.5-point favorite. That changes the odds to plus 143 there. So if I'm feeling optimistic about that, I can take it at that line instead. Or if you're feeling super cocky, you think it's going to be a Cardinals blowout at minus 9.5, you can change those odds. They go up to plus 410. So you can kind of see how it changes. It's cool how it is a fluent mover, and you can see how the odds change at each stop here. So I do like this functionality of BetRivers a great deal. This also applies to the total points. You can see the over-under set at 44.5 to start. You can move it up if you think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Move it down if you think it's going to be low-scoring, and change the value of the odds there. There's also a number of player props. As you can see, we got player prop, player passing here, player touchdowns thrown, interceptions thrown, total passes completing. We have passing and rushing, player receiving, player rushing. So they do have the option to build a same-game parlay within the same game as well. So it doesn't have to be just a parlay spread across different matchups, that you can hammer home a number of bets at the same matchup here, which has not always been the case and something that's grown in popularity. So great that it is offered on BetRivers. I also want to recognize that this is not just NFL betting. Let's switch gears and move over to the baseball lines here. So it is MLB playoffs going down at the moment. Let's take a look at the lines here. So in the matchups today, there's the Texas Rangers versus Baltimore Orioles, the Minnesota Twins, Houston Astros, Phillies versus Braves, Arizona Diamondbacks versus LA Dodgers. That's a tough matchup for the Diamondbacks, but I do believe that we've seen the Dodgers choke in the playoffs before. This may not be the last time. So let's click on the Diamondbacks money line at plus 170, and it's the same exact process here, that if you were to put $10 on that to win 17, a $27 payout, and then bang, just click the place bet button there. And in the same way with baseball, that you can open this up here, and they have a ton of options when it comes to the same game parlay, player props. you can move the line in the same way. If you want to change the run line, if you want to make it Diamondbacks -1.5, you can get that at +2,675 odds. So cool that you can play with that in the same way. Find one that meets your desired wager or what you're searching for. And there are extensive options when it comes to batter home runs, pitcher props, player hits, anything that you could hope for. There is a very extensive option here on BetRivers. That is something I would consider a massive benefit of the app. So now let's jump back at it, because it is not just short-term payouts or short-term options. Maybe that you want to follow something over the course of the season. You just don't want this short-term, one day, one and done, win or loss. You can jump to the futures markets, and I'm going to jump back over to the NFL here and jump into a number of these. So first, we'll start off NFL championship odds. So the team to win the Super Bowl, the Cardinals are sitting at dead last when it comes to odds there. That is not a wager that I would recommend at this point in time, but you can find a futures market, something that does appeal to you. That you scroll down a little farther, you can find options like regular season MVP, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, comeback player of the year, rookie of the year, anything that jumps off, the head coach specials, any of these options that you can jump on. And there's some specific, for example, the Arizona Cardinals market, plus 1,400 to make the playoffs. If you're really feeling the Josh Dobbs love, that you can jump on that. And an example with here, it's just placed in the same exact ways. So for the Cardinals to make the playoffs, put $5 there to win 70. So a $75 potential payout. Once again, this is not a betting advice that you should do that, but it is available on the BetRivers app. And lastly, I just want to touch on the live betting options. Live betting is another example of something that's grown rapidly in popularity. I personally am a huge fan of the live betting markets, and the reason that I feel that way is there's times where values can come onto the board that otherwise would not have existed. That if you're watching a game and the heavy favorite falls behind early, you may be able to get to a much more favorable line for them to have a comeback victory that otherwise would not have been the case. So you have to be on your toes. You have to be ready. You have to be locked in and taking in a match as it happens to make sure you're capitalizing. But there are opportunities that pop on the board through the live betting market that otherwise would not be the case. Now, for placing a wager, it is the exact same process. I'm going to begin. Not a lot of sports on at the time I am recording this, but there is some Super League being played in Turkey right now. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce these names, but let's say I'm feeling really good about this team to come back and win. They're 11-point underdogs, plus 475 on the money line. Let's click that money line options and to type a wager there. As I mentioned, the exact same process. So a $6 wager would pay out $28.50, $30.60 on the potential, and we can see it's already changing. So we have to click the approve odds change, drop from 475 to 410. So they're showing some signs of life. That drops the payout from 6 to win 24.60 now, so 30.60 potential. Now jumping back up. So you can see how rapidly that line moves, that you do have to be on your toes for the live betting options. And another just huge pro of the BetRivers Sportsbook app that I would like to mention is that they do offer a lot of streaming options for these games. So it can be the one-stop shop for just taking in a game as a whole, wagering on it, taking it in, everything you want. You can click on that stream button and it can pop on your screen right there. So a ton of good options there. So as a whole, I would say that I recommend BetRivers Sportsbook as an effective option for your sports betting experience. I will give them a 5 out of 5 when it comes to the welcome bonus, that I do think they offer some enticing offers for new users. And as I mentioned, that you click that link on bettingaz.com to make sure that you're staying up to date and getting the best bang for your buck there. I'll give them a 4 out of 5 when it comes to payment. I think it's a little bit confusing, the process, but they do have all the options that you need. That once you figure out the familiarity, there is no problem getting money in and out of your account, which is the bottom line and what you should care about the most. The cash thing up front, I think, is a little strange, but the options that I think people are more likely to use or more frequently use are right there on the table. The sportsbook as a whole, I'll drop a couple points. We're going to go 3 out of 5 there. While I do think it's pretty user-friendly and the interface is pretty nice with the navigation, I love how the bet slip pops up in that way, and building a parlay I think is very easy. It is a little too busy for me, that I think at times, if you're looking for a specific wager, it's not the easiest to find on the BetRivers Sportsbook and Casino app. So I'll take a couple points out here. The variety and features I'll also knock a little bit, just because there's not the as frequent of bonuses or odds boosts or things like that when compared to its competitors. I think they do a nice job of having a widespread prop market, but there are some things that I think they could do to improve the overall experience. And lastly, I'll give the customer support a 5 out of 5, that it has a large database of helpful resources and a strong team of representatives available 24/7. So that's all you can really hope for. Ideally, there is a world where you need no customer support help, but when the situation arrives, there is staff available at BetRivers. So I hope you guys enjoy your experience with BetRivers Sportsbook and Casino. Make sure you stay safe, practice safe betting habits. Thank you guys for watching this video, for tuning in. Make sure to check out the video or the article on bettingaz.com, and best of luck with all your plays.